Rather lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal Football Club. Now, according to 90 Min, Arsenal are looking for a new midfielder, and that is before January. So we're looking into the free market. We're looking for midfielders whose contracts have actually run down, but have not yet signed for a new club. One player has been offered, and that is former player Xhaka at Lille Metropole. So we're going to be diving into that as well. Thomas Frank at Brentford thinks Martin Odegaard is very close to becoming the next Kevin De Bruyne in the Premier League. Quite a very interesting comment there. We'll be exploring that. Arsene Wenger should be returning to Arsenal very soon. And Donny van de Beek has been claimed, not really claimed, but has been put up for sale by Manchester United. They will be listening to any offers from Premier League clubs. Arsenal is one of the clubs that have been monitoring the situation of Donny van de Beek for quite some time now. Do you think it is time for Arsenal to make a move on Donny van de Beek? In my opinion, yes, it is. But of course, we're going to be diving into all that. I'm going to be giving you my reactions and my thoughts on all these stories. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Now, let's start off with the 90-minute story. They have reported that Arsenal are contemplating a move for a free agent midfielder now. 90 Min understands with Xhaka, formerly at Lille Metropole, being offered. The player has held talks with Rene, but delayed a final decision after some positive responses from Premier League clubs. So, that is the story from 90 Min this morning. I think it grabs the headlines for me straight away. So they're saying Arsenal are looking to sign a free midfielder before January. We're looking at a couple of other players as well. So the full story, written says that Arsenal will consider a couple of other options, not only Xhaka. Xhaka has been offered. He's out of contract. Played 144 games for Lille Metropole, but right now the 27-year-old Portuguese does not have a contract. Now, I've looked at some of the statistics. I've looked at some of the key basic information around this guy on transfer market. He predominantly plays as a central midfielder. He can also play as a defensive midfielder and also as a left midfielder. Look, when you look at Xhaka, I mean, just have a picture of him there on the screen. If you look at Xhaka, he just looks like Serge Milinkovic-Savic. Some kind of midfielder who's huge. Some kind of midfielder who's very, very, physical and all that. But is this the right move for Arsenal? Is this the right thing for us to do? Should we go in the market and try to get a new midfielder out of contract? Yes, we want more warm bodies. We want squad depth. We want more quality and more quantity of players. The games that are going to be played in October, in November are just hilarious. But this could be a panic buy, in my opinion. Look, listen. The transfer market is closed currently. So if you want to add any players, you're going to look at the players that are not contracted, players without a contract. And I understand that. And Arsenal's and Mikel Arteta's aim to get in at least someone in midfield, with Thomas Partey being unstable and Mohamed Elneny being out, you understand the motive and you understand the initiative. We want to bring in a midfielder so that when Thomas Partey is overwhelmed with the fixtures, and of course Elneny is not around, we have someone who can back him up. But this sounds like a panic buy for me. This really would sound like a panic buy. I don't think there's so many decent players out there without a contract. Yes, Xhaka has been offered to Arsenal, but you've got to ask yourself, if he's good, then why is he out of contract, at this point in time? For me, that is the biggest question. Why is he out of contract at this point in time? And when you get this guy, when you sign him, is it a 1-year deal? Is it a 6-month deal? Is it a 3-year deal? That is the question. These are players that you've literally not scouted. They're players that, in my opinion, you'd sign them if you have no other choice. For me, Lokonga, Partey, and the likes of Fabio Vieira and Xhaka should be enough for us to go through October and November and then wait until January. I understand and I appreciate Arteta and Edu's initiative because the fixture list is really compacted. But I don't see how a free agent midfielder currently improves our transfer strategy. And I don't believe when you go out there and bring in a player who's not scouted, a player you've not looked at, very well, it's gonna help us. In my opinion, it's the same as signing the likes of Kim Kalostrom. You remember when we signed Kim Kalostrom in January? Those kind of transfers, they just don't make any sense in my opinion. They really don't make any sense. So for me, what I would say, if there is a good midfielder, sincerely, a good midfielder, free right now, yes, Arsenal should try to get him on a 1-year deal. I don't know how good this guy was at Lille Metropole. I don't know how good he is even currently. I don't know even he's even if I'm not even sure if he's training well. But according to 90 Min, a couple of clubs in the Premier League, Arsenal, probably Everton. I mean, they're always there. Brentford as well. A couple of clubs in the Premier League are looking at him. Rennes in France is also looking at him, and that is quite decent. I'm in love with all that. But I'm not in love with the player, and I'm not in love with signing a player we know nothing about. So instead of us going for a panic buy, I think I'm just tired of those days when Arsenal sign players who bring nothing to the table. But anyway, Xhaka plays as a central midfielder and as a defensive midfielder as well. 90 Min says Mikel Arteta has told Edu and the transfer board that if they can't get in someone before January to help with the fixture list, then that should be done. Of course, Emil Smith-Rowe is going to be out until January for me. Alexander Zinchenko is struggling with injury. He can also always play in midfield, but he's struggling with injuries. You have Elneny who's not going to come back until February. Thomas Partey is uncertain when he's going to be fit and when he's not going to be. So the initiative to getting a new midfielder is really appreciated. But my question is, how much will we know about the guy we are going to sign? Now, talking about how much we know about the guy we're going to sign, in January, Man United will be listening to offers for Donny van der Beek. Credible source, Rudy Galetti has given us the hint. Now, we understand, and I understand that Arsenal have been following Donny van der Beek for some time during his time at Ajax and also his unsuccessful period at Manchester United. I'm going to say this, guys. I really don't understand Erik ten Hag. I really don't get Erik ten Hag at all. When he signed for Man United, the whole footballing world reacted in joy with Donny van der Beek. We all thought Donny van der Beek was going to be the key player in Manchester United. Because, look, we all thought he's going to do a clear route, and I think he will do a clear route at Manchester United. But we never thought Donny van der Beek is going to be one of the casualties of Erik ten Hag and his regime. But anyway, look, that plays very well in the hands of Arsenal Football Club. Listen, this is my case for Donny van der Beek. A midfielder who can play for you as an attacking midfielder, who can play for you as a central midfielder as well, and can play anywhere you place him on the pitch. Hard-working, very talented, and still very young. When you talk about versatility that Mikel Arteta loves, of course he loves players that are very, very versatile. Donny van der Beek is a very versatile player. When we talk about talent, when we talk about resale value, when we talk about market value, all these things are just in line with the Arsenal transfer policy. So for me, if there is a slight window that Arsenal get Donny van der Beek in January, get it done. There are not many better deals in January that you can get. Look, I've talked about Moises Caicedo yesterday, and I'll talk about Moises Caicedo as well. But Caicedo is not a clear doable deal. But this is where Man United are listening to offers in January. You can take him periodically on loan, on a short deal on loan, and then you sign him on a permanent. For me, listen, when you're playing Xhaka in that role, and you get Donny van der Beek, you're hitting two birds with one stone. First and foremost, you get to retain Xhaka, Mikel Arteta's most beloved son now. But again, you're getting an extra quality. I think Donny van der Beek, honestly, is better than Yuri Tillemans because Donny van der Beek's game is all round. That is the beauty around him. He scores goals, creates chances, but when it comes to defensive actions, he's also a very, very top player. And I'm still surprised that Erik ten Hag has gone, all the managers before me have not played you. I'm not convinced about you, guy. I'm so shocked. I thought Donny van de Beek was going to be a starter day in, day out for Manchester United. But of course, the fact that they have Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes, maybe you don't blame Erik ten Hag so much for not playing Donny van de Beek. But anyway, for me, Arsenal should 100% move in for this guy. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Now, Thomas Frank, the manager at Brentford, has come out and given lots of praise for our captain, Martin Odegaard. He actually thinks Kevin De Bruyne is a decent player, but Martin Odegaard is not far away from getting to the levels of Kevin De Bruyne. So, this could be mind games. I understand. Thomas Frank, thank you so much. And I hope Martin Odegaard doesn't get carried away, because mind games in football are really, really dangerous. They're so deadly. Of course, I think the biggest manager when it comes to mind games has always been Jose Mourinho. Very good at mind games. But again, if we talk about Martin Odegaard just objectively on this panel, on this channel, I think Martin Odegaard can get to the levels of Kevin De Bruyne. Because what Kevin De Bruyne does is control games. Martin Odegaard is 100% a game controller. There is no doubt about that. He's always going to dictate events and the direction in which those events happen on a football pitch. There is no question about that. He's one of the players I've looked at in their careers, and I'm really 100% convinced he's going to be great, right? Look, he started attracting media attention at 15. How many players have attracted media attention at 15, and they have come around, and they're still playing at a top level? Odegaard, Gigi Donnarumma, I think Pedri as well, maybe Ansu Fati as well. Yeah, there are a couple of them, but Martin Odegaard should be given a lot of credit. Captaining the Norway side, the Norway national team at 21, and captaining Arsenal at 23. There is something special about this guy. So, look, for me, in terms of performances, I don't want to disrespect the best midfielder in the world right now. Kevin De Bruyne is far clear of Martin Odegaard. Because when you look at Kevin De Bruyne, he's just on another level. The way he picks up passes, the way he breaks the lines, the way he utilizes the channels that have been worked by his strikers and wingers. The vision Kevin De Bruyne has is on another planet. But Martin Odegaard, there is no question, in his arsenal, there is everything it needs to become a top player. Whether he becomes a top player or he doesn't, that depends on his initiative. That depends on his ambition, and that depends on the manager and the coaching. But for me, he can get to those levels, especially as Arsenal keep on getting better and better and better. So finally, yesterday, Mikel Arteta was asked about Arsene Wenger and his role if he comes back, and he said, "Look, Arsene is very open, is very open and welcome to Arsenal, and we hope he returns very, very soon." So all you guys that don't want Arsene Wenger to return, he's more likely to return to Arsenal, either in an advisory role or in even a more active role in the day-to-day running of the business and the football club. So if you don't want Arsene Wenger to be back, I think it's high time you start doing your rehearsals, because the old man looks set to be back in the Arsenal business. And like I said, who better come back to witness the glory days of Arsenal than the man who dug the foundation and built it so firmly that right now we have a good stadium, we have a good team, and the manager that we have currently went through the hands of Arsene Wenger. Quite interesting. I'll see you soon. I'm going to take breakfast. See you very, very soon.